Lakshmikant Chauhan as Akshay Kumar, the protagonist of Padman, is a misfit. In a small Madhya Pradesh village, where people revere traditions, he's repulsed by them. Small normal things perplex him, his wife using a rag to wipe out menstrual stains, the exorbitantly priced sanitary pads, the isolation of women during periods. Lakshmi is a believer, but at the same time skeptical of Hindu priests who, at a local fair, con the villagers into paying 51 rupees for a piece of coconut broken by a statue of Hanuman. Where the villagers see religion, their god opening his mouth, swallowing the coconut and ejecting several broken pieces of it from his left hand, Lakshmi sees science, imagining a small machine, comprising a pulley and a cutter, that makes a mystical real. Lakshmi's insights are original and penetrating, but more importantly, they are Indian. They are rooted in his million people. They also don't kowtow to conventional definitions of intelligence. Consider this, Lakshmi is a school dropout, he studied till 8th grade, can't speak English and works as a mechanic in a garage. People like him don't ordinarily stand a chance in this world, or rather they're not allowed to. Yet Lakshmi spends his hours losing sleep over making an affordable sanitary pad. This would have been ingenious screenwriting had Lakshmi not been based on a real-life character, Arunachalam Muruganattam. Western imperialism pulled off a sly trick centuries ago, it converted all it says to theirs. So, for instance, Western modernity, a form of modernity, became the form. The grip of this cultural colonization has been so firm and unrelenting that it offers no easy way out. This thought has captivated and haunted many Indian thinkers. Is being modern the same as being Western? In such a culture, where our language and definition of success is largely borrowed, Muruganatham's story is a rare Indian artifact. It is first local, then global. It is also what Bollywood filmmakers like to call inspirational. Over the last few years, though, inspirational has become shorthand for patriotic. And patriotic has largely come to denote one thing, an Akshay Kumar film. This was potentially worrying because Bollywood filmmakers and stars, Kumar in particular, interpret patriotism as jingoism, substituting quiet pride with loud superiority, which is fixated on spreading outwards in a bid to subjugate. But Muruganatham's is a story of going inwards, of proving things to no one else but one's own self. So Padman often appears like a shrinking, contracting circle that doesn't know its center. Hindi cinema is often known to make the already dramatic overly dramatic. Which is why, early in the film, it's not enough that Lakshmi is trying to make a sanitary pad by himself, a desire motivated by intellectual inquiry and love for his wife, Radhika Apte. That scene has to also unfold to the sound of a loud wailing flute, milking the pathos to the last drop. Such lack of confidence constantly mars Padman. Then the film struggles to accommodate a star, a larger-than-life figure, in a village, a setting that isn't conventionally cinematic, giving rise to an artificial mofussil, scenes shot in bright fairs, on the riverfront, around imposing temples. A film like Padman, where love and science coexist, and, unlike many Bollywood and Hollywood dramas, where the former doesn't edge out the latter, is uncommon to Hindi cinema, and it needed the fine strokes of a deft artist. But filmmaker Arbulki and Kumar prefer the broad strokes of a novice. Yet the film, by virtue of a powerful story and the makers being faithful to it, shines in parts. Padman is, to some degree, an examination of obsession. Lakshmi's fascination for sanitary pads, considered both taboo and feminine, first makes him an object of ridicule and later destroys his marriage and results in his ouster him from his village. Lakshmi would like his old life back, but he's also fallen for the seductions of invention, ultimately finding who he is, aware of pain, restless about answers, and there's no going back. As much as Lakshmi loves his wife, when he calls her years later, after having designed a machine for making cheap pads, he keeps talking about his invention and doesn't ask about her. She is distraught. But that is how people obsessed with work can express love, through work. Like Kumar's Toilet, an ambitious drama that eventually devolved into a quasi-propaganda piece, Padman too is devoid of a villain. The implication of this is powerful, that our traditions, or rather a blind devotion to them, are holding us back. Besides, using Muruganatham's life as a springboard, Padman dismantles many key Indian misconceptions, such as a false equivalence between intelligence and education, the insistence on following a strict path to become successful and money being the only yardstick to measure success. Some motifs are hammered in, but some are just acknowledged through a line or two, such as when Lakshmi says in the film's climax, at a speech in United Nations, "I not study IIT but IIT study me." Batman also probes the definition of a man and how he should act. In the village, Lakshmi is repeatedly told to not interfere in the matters of women. In the town he's advised to become a married man, not a murk, stupid, to get a well-paying job and pay for his wife's sanitary pads, instead of fixating on creating something, advice that comes naturally to many Indian parents and uncles. That said, Batman, while posturing as a feminist drama, also has the tendency to be paternalistic and patronizing. Given that the film unfolds through a man's point of view,